My name is Narayan Desai, spelled Narayan, Narayan Desai. And my role in 1971 was primarily that of the National Secretary of the Indian Shanti Sena. And our first commitment is to non-violence. And in fact, it sounds very queer that a non-violent organization came wholeheartedly in support of a movement, because we think that non-violence, the first condition of non-violence is freedom. And the movement in 1971 was based on liberation, with the hope that a thing that starts with Muktijuddho will ultimately end with Juddha Mukti. All our activities were restricted to two different types of work, mainly humanitarian services among the refugees and trying to get world sympathy, and at that time also a recognition of Bangladesh. Our chairman was Jayaprakash Narayan, well known for his commitment to non-violence. But he toured around the whole world and met several heads of states, many different countries, in support, convincing them to recognize Bangladesh. And a counterpart at home was done by the Indian Shanti Sena, working for primarily of compassion. We worked among 23 camps on the northern and northeastern borders with Bangladesh, Bengal, Assam, right up to the border of Silchar, and worked among 800,000 refugees for several months. Most of our volunteers came from Gandhian institutions in various parts of the country, but majority of them came from Gujarat. And because they had their training in some of these activities. The activities, we began with activities which was neglected by other institutions. And we thought sanitation was the first thing that we should do. There was the threat of epidemic spreading. In the north, there was a camp where I remember the only work of the volunteers was to carry dead bodies of refugees to a jungle, bury them, come back to carry the next one. The whole day, for several hours a day, it was a continuous process, and it was a, well, not only physically but also emotionally trying experience. But that was the first. This, of course, sanitation connected with health activities. But we found that one of the things which people had not given any attention was the mental pressures through which the refugees were going through. So in the evenings, we had entertainment programs and cultural programs, singing songs and dancing, songs connected with the movement. But still, that part was rather neglected by other relief committees, etc. So we concentrated, because most of our volunteers came from educational institutions, trained in practical work as well as this academics. The second part that we did, and that was more or less symbolic, but I think it was very significant, was to organize a march on foot, which is called Padayatra, Vishwa Vivek Jagaran Padayatra, in order to awaken the conscience of the world. This yatra was organized. Some 36 volunteers from various districts of Bangladesh came together, started from the Bangladesh border, and we aimed to reach Delhi, crossing through West Bengal and Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana and Delhi, steps like that. We did not have to reach Delhi, because when we reached Kanpur, Bangladesh was recognized by India. That was one of our aims, that India should be the first country to recognize, and it was recognized. So we said, well, now we have already completed what we did. But I was surprised that the reception that these young boys, they were, most of them in their teens, but they used to speak so well. And thousands of people came every day to listen to them. Many of them were speaking in Bengali, and a language which they in Bihar and UP people did not know, so we had to translate. But they only wanted to see this young man and feel the spirit of freedom that they had. Most of the activities that we did, the sanitation and the health and some education, was financed by Oxfam. And one condition was that there should not be any political activities. And we did not separate political activities with these humanitarian activities. But still, we maintained that discipline and did not discuss politics with them. But in our person-to-person talks, it was, we were motivated, I would say politically, but to me, politics doesn't mean capturing power. Politics means awakening the non-violent strength of the people. And if we could do that, I think that would be the answer for better world tour. My daughter was studying in a medical college in Calcutta. And there was a very practical risk or threat of the spread of cholera epidemic around Calcutta. She was doing her internship as a medical student. She, with some of her friends, organized 250 volunteers from various medical colleges, beginning from doctors back to nurses and other people of all different categories. And they just stuck to one activity, giving injections, cholera injections too. They were able to cover, I don't know, but I think it was several million people they could give within 15 days. And that was, I think, remarkable. But when I discussed that with her, she said, to me, that was much more of education than that I got during my medical course. These 15 days were more educative to her. And I think that has been there because she has been in Gandhian activities throughout her life. So that was the beginning of that. When, I think it's a human nature to express gratitude, which is very general. But for a whole nation, and especially the heads of the nation, expressing their gratitude of something done several decades ago, and something done with no idea of receiving anything from them, absolutely selflessly. The chief motivating idea behind our work was compassion and sympathy for the suffering. And the second was the desire for freedom. These were the two, but still a few thousand people did so many years ago, remembered decades after that, and not only by some other people, but by the representatives of the whole nation, was not only historic, but also, I would say, unique. Because I don't find any example of that in history before that. That's